Well, welcome to Dimension-Polyant's portion of the MAURIPRO Sailing Boat Show. We are one of 2 or 3 worldwide sailcloth producers. We happen to do everything in our own facilities. So all our own machinery, our own employees, our own manufacturing process. In that regard, we have a quick video to show you from our German facility. I'm Zach Clayton. I'm the sales manager in the USA facility, but we'll run the German facility, which shows you weaving, finishing, laminating, and some of the quality control we do for fabric that ends up on your boat. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Dimension-Polyant. Please come in and take a look. Weaving preparations. During the weaving process, all warp threads need to be lifted or lowered to form a pocket in which the fill threads can be placed. Very thin blades called heddles with a small eyelet sit in a frame, and through every eyelet runs one warp thread. Weaving. The tightest connection between the warp and fill threads is achieved by a taffeta weave. When every other warp thread is lifted, a pocket is formed in which the fill thread is inserted. The reed pushes the new fill thread towards the already existing fabric, and the warp thread alternate. At DP, 3 different techniques are used to place the fill fiber. Rapier Loom. 2 rapier sticks are located opposite to each other, perpendicular to the warp threads. One stick picks up the fill and carries it to the middle of the loom, where the other one takes over and pulls it through to the other side. Projectile Looms. A flat projectile picks up the fill thread, gets pushed with high speed to the other side, where it releases the fiber. A magnetic band transports the projectile back to the other side, where it can pick up the next fill thread. There are approximately 25 projectiles in a loom taking their turns. Air loom. The fill thread is blown through the warp threads. A special reed with a half tube is needed to keep the air bundled. Washing. The textile term is scouring. The fibers are lubricated with a size to make them slippery, which is helpful during the weaving process. But before the cloth gets resinated or coated, this size has to be washed out completely. This process takes several hours. Heat setter. After scouring, the cloth is run over heated rolls in this machine. The heat setting process contributes to the performance of the finished fabric, as well as the flatness of the material, which is a critical factor for sailmakers. Tenter frame. At DP, we have two tenter frames. This one is in combination with a resonating unit. The cloth is soaked in a resin bath. The desired dosage is achieved by squeezing out excessive resin. The resonated cloth is then carried through a number of heated chambers. It is exposed to a hot environment, but it is not touching any heated surfaces. Tenter frame. Our second tenter frame is combined with a coating unit. The coating is applied like butter on bread using a knife. After coating, the cloth is carried through various heated chambers. Here as well, it is exposed to a hot environment, but it is not touching any heated surfaces. Colander. This is like ironing the cloth. It is run in between two colander rolls. One is heated and the other one has a relative soft surface and presses the cloth against the hot roll. The shape of this roll can be set. We can press more towards the edges or more on the middle, whatever is necessary to achieve a good flatness. Laminator. Here we produce our laminates, a combination of film, adhesives, scrims, inserts, or external taffetas. X-ply is a patented process developed by Dimension-Polyant. You see the process here. Laminate materials typically incorporate high modulus fibers, such as carbon, aramid, or ultra PE. Traditional polyester fibers still have a significant place in Code Zero and cruising laminates. Quality inspection. Here, we tube off the master rolls and cut them to manageable roll lengths. Depending on the weight of the fabric, the rolls are 50, 70, or 100 meters long. During this process, we grade the material for flatness, identify any flaws, and flag them to alert sail makers before cutting the sail. Inventory. Today, most purchases are based on a specific length needed by sailmakers, so it is important for us to carry sufficient inventory of our catalog items to supply our customers on very short notice. Packing unit and shipping. Based on a sailmaker's order, specific rules are allocated, taken from the inventory, and then boxed and labeled. The consignments are picked up by trucking companies and shipped worldwide. Laboratory. Every single lot we produce is subject to laboratory testing. Dimension-Polyant standardized tests determine the stretch-resistant properties of the fabric. A visual graph shows the elongation in warp, fill, and bias direction. We also test tearing and breaking strength, UV stability, the bonding strength of laminates, etc. Sample room. Here, we carry sample rolls of all the styles we produce. We cut samples for handouts, and we produce sample books with technical details for sailmakers. RTO. At some stages during the manufacturing process, we need to use solvents. These solvents are directed to our regenerative thermal oxidizer, in short, RTO, where they are processed into purified air and water vapor. At Dimension-Polyant, we feel a very high responsibility to protect our valuable environment.
So there's obviously a wide range of materials available to build your sails from a basic entry level woven polyester, your white sail that you're familiar with, up to carbon fiber Dyneema blends, right? All of the above. The vast majority of customers fall into the cruising club racing application. The cruising customer is looking for the best bang for their dollar. More often than not, that will still be a traditional polyester-based woven material, similar to what you saw in the video. There's many different levels of that type of product, from an economy to a performance racing application. One Design boats still use racing Dacrons all the time. But for the vast majority of customers, you want to have a product that lasts a long period of time, holds its shape, and you don't have to buy a new one every 3 years. So woven polyester, both in cross-cut and tri-radial. So cross-cut, horizontal panels, tri-radial, a lot of the triangle pieces that you see. The fabrics are built differently to quantify both of those skill sets and requirements that the sailcloth needs. Stronger in two different directions, warp and fill. Doesn't really matter to you other than you get the right fabric for the right application. So if you are replacing your 15-year-old sail and you're going to continue to cruise, that's what you want to do. I go out on a weekend or after work and we cruise our boat. We have some nice music and maybe a glass of wine and a meal and come back home. Traditional cross-cut woven polyester, we would call it Dacron type product is perfect for you. There's 3 levels. There's an entry level, there's a mid-range, and a premium. And in those 3, the difference really comes down to the final coatings and the type of fibers used. So at the premium end, you will have UV coating treatments on your product. It will give the sail 15 to 20% longer life in the sun. That means at the end life of your sail, it's going to stay in one piece longer. The mid-range is the same weave as you would see in a premium, doesn't have the secondary UV coating. So still a tight weave, still good shape holding retention, but at the end life of the product, it's going to fail a little sooner. Then you have a budget range, your bottom range, which typically uses a blend of 2 different types of polyester. So one that's stronger and one that's a little stretchier, has a little more movement. The initial life of the sail, the shape will be the same as all 3 when it's brand new. But this one will get a little rounder, maybe a little fuller, a little quicker. But you'll save anywhere between 40 and 20% on the finished product of the sail. So if you use the sail very little, the entry-level product can be the right one. If you push your product, you are an ex-racer, for example, and want to see the best shape holding you can get out of a woven product, the premium all-purpose with a UV coating is a nice option. New to the market are tri-radial wovens, and all the fabric suppliers offer them. We offer one out of GP called Pro Radial. Challenge and Contender offer a different one. You can debate the merits, but the key to that is that gives you a tri-radial layout. The fabric is stronger in one direction than the other. The sail maker can give you a better sail shape with a triangular panel tri-radial layout. Panels are smaller, there's less stretch, less movement. End life, so lifetime of a triangle before it fails, is about the same. Those are premium products. They have the premium coatings, the premium UV resistance. They are specifically designed for a tri-radial application. So if you're an ex-racer, that fits the bill pretty well. The next step from there is moving you out of traditional only hot polyester products. And if you're going to take your boat to the Caribbean or you're going to go across the ocean, there's the next level, which is a polyester and an ultra PE. Think of trade name of Dyneema, blend woven product. Those products are designed to be incredibly rugged. The DP product is the Hydronet family. The other suppliers have their own name for theirs. But those are products you really pay for. You might pay for 2 of a traditional woven sail for the price of 1 Hydronet sail, but you will not be stuck halfway across your crossing or your trip. Basically, you can cut up the old sail and use it as a lifting sling to lift your boat out of the water when it's done. The purpose of the Ultra PE and the product is to stop tears, not have problems, get you around the world. So many of you, if you know someone that's done a crossing, will tout those type of products. They say, look, we had no problems. We went 3 crossings. The sails are 10 years old. They're still great. You get what you pay for in that application. Those are your kind of 3 woven applications. The club racing market is the hardest one, to be honest with you. That's the hardest one for customers because you want the best product, but your checkbook probably doesn't justify the best product or the boat itself or the level of racing you're doing. So picking that mid-range product is the most difficult one. Premium Dacrons can certainly work in that application. Then you can get into your performance cruising laminate products, but ask your sailmaker where the right fit is for you. The questions I always ask when I'm at a show to customers that walk up to us is threefold. 1, how do you use the boat? Do I race it as a full racer? Do I race cruise it and I want to have 1 sail for everything? Or do I just cruise? That splits the fabrics into a third for each of those. Then the next step is, how often do I want to replace the sail? If I want to replace the sail every 15 years, white polyester base level is where you're going to be. If we're replacing a sail every 2 or 3 years, you can look at higher level products. Then the third thing I ask is, what type of support do you need? Do you need your sailmaker to be able to measure your boat? Do you need your sailmaker to bend your sails on? Do you want to be able to have local service? Those are the three things that come into play when asking a cloth manufacturer at a show where your credit card is safe, what's the right thing for me? So most of the sail makers that you're going to work with are going to give you a great sail. Computer design, computer cut, wonderful construction. The one word of warning is if the sail maker won't tell you the supplier, whether it's DP or one of our competitors, if they won't give you that information, or if the price is too good to be true, it probably is. So just make sure to kind of ask those questions. Is this the right product for what I'm doing with my boat? Will it last the time I'm asking for it to last? And who is the supplier of the fabric? If it's not either Dimension-Polyant, Challenge, or Contender, you need to ask more questions. So that in an overview gives you a quick 7-minute, 10-minute breakdown of how to limit the stack of materials that are out there, right? We make 150 different styles in sailcloth only every year. And out of that 150, there might be 3 or 4 that are applicable for your boat. So ask the right questions, get the right answers. And as a cloth supplier, we're always here to answer any of those. So if you've got a question about a fabric and the sailmaker didn't answer it, great. Give us a call. We're happy to do so. Sailmakers ask us all the time to send samples to customers. We do those type of things as well. And you can always check the website and see what the fabric that you're being quoted is planned to be used for, what the application is, and some of the technical specs. So with that, I appreciate your time, and we'll answer any questions you may have.